So we will be starting our next topic in our training. The next topic is material requirement planning. Okay. Here the topics we will be covering. We will be covering the topics that we are going to cover. They are, we will see what is MRP. What is MRP? We will understand the basics of MRP run. Okay. We will see what are the different MRP procedures. Then we will understand the difference between consumption based planning and normal MRP. We will see that what is consumption based planning and what is normal MRP. Then we will see reorder point planning. What is reorder point planning? Different methods of execution of MRP run. We will see how to execute MRP differently with different methods. Then we will see what are the different MRP types in the system. Okay, MRP types, and what data you need to maintain in the material master for MRP. To carry out MRP, what data needs to be maintained in the material master, we will cover that. And finally we will see MRP planning results. Once the MRP is executed, how to see the planning results. So these are the topics we will be covering in the MRP, material requirement planning. Okay, so what is MRP? Okay, so basically MRP stands for material requirement planning. MRP is nothing but material requirement planning. Okay, the main purpose of MRP is to guarantee material availability. The main purpose of MRP is to guarantee material availability. Okay, so basically MRP determines what material is needed. Okay, what material you require to procure or produce. That system will determine what quantity of the material is needed, how much quantity of the material is needed. Okay, and when the material is needed. Okay, whether for procurement, whether for production or for other activity, when that material is needed. So MRP basically determines these three things: what material is needed, what quantity of the material is needed, and when the material is needed. So these three things are determined by MRP, material requirement planning. Okay, so basically what happens in MRP basically MRP works basically on bill of material. In the PP module they use bill of material. Okay, bill of material means to produce a product. Let's say I want to manufacture a product in my company. To produce a product, I need some input materials. So these materials, they will put it in the bill of material. Okay, now when they run MRP for this particular product, based on this requirement, system will calculate the requirements for the down level materials, component materials, and it will give you the calculate the requirement of these components. Okay, and that information will be sent to the purchasing department. Okay, suppose let's say you want to manufacture a PC, personal computer or a laptop. Okay, so what do you require? You require a processor. Let's say you want to manufacture a personal computer. What do you require? You require a processor, you require a keyboard. Okay, you require monitor. So all these things you will put it in the BOM of the PC. So BOM of the PC will contain all these materials. Now again, to manufacture monitor you need some parts, some materials. So all those things you will put it in the BOM of the monitor. So based on this, when you run MRP, system will calculate the quantities for your down level materials. That's what will happen. Okay, I'll explain you with a simple example. Let's say you want to manufacture cycle. So to manufacture one cycle, what do you require? You require pedals 2. Okay, you require cycle chain, you require 1. You require seat 1. Okay, you require handle 1. What else you require? You require tubes 2. You require tube. Okay, then you require brakes 2, front brake, rear brake. Okay, then you require rims you require 2. Okay, and then you require a bulb. one bulb. Okay, so these things you require. So if you want to manufacture a cycle one cycle, you require these materials with this quantity. This is a component, component, and this is a quantities. These are the quantities. Now let's say tomorrow I want to manufacture 1000 cycles. My requirement is to manufacture 1000 cycles. So you enter the requirement as 1000 cycles. When you run MRP, based on this BOM you define. So this information you will put in the bill of material. This information you will put in the bill of material. You will put in the bill of material. Okay, you will put in the BOM, bill of material. Okay, so when you enter the requirement as 1000 and when you run MRP, system will calculate the requirement for these materials. Okay, so pedals, how many required? 2000 required. Chains, 1000 required. Seats, 1000 required. Handles, 1000. Tubes, 2000. Brakes, 2000. Rims, 2000. Bulbs, 1000. So system will calculate this quantity and it will send this information to the purchasing department in the form of PR. System will generate a purchase requisition for these quantities and that information will go to purchasing and they will convert those purchase requisition to purchase order. So that is how the basic idea runs in the MRP. So basically here this is what will happen. So based on the components defined in the BOM and their quantities, when you run MRP, system will explode the BOM, bill of material, and it will calculate these quantities, and the information will go to purchasing. That's what will happen. Okay, so that is a basic MRP procedure. So in the MRP, when you run MRP, what happens is, when you run MRP, there are two types of materials in the organization. Some materials are produced in the organization, like your finished products, FG, finished products, and there are some semi-finished products. These are manufactured in our company. Whereas there are some materials you procure, like raw materials, packing materials, okay, spare parts, okay, ARSA materials, spare parts. So these things, what we will do, we do the procurement, we purchase them. Okay, so for the in-house production materials, whenever you run MRP, if the stock is not there as per the requirement, system will generate a planned order, and this planned order will be converted to production order. This comes under the scope of PP module. Whereas in case of externally procured materials, what system does is, system directly create a PR, purchase requisition. Okay, and this purchase requisition is converted to purchase order. This already we have discussed in our previous classes. This already we have discussed how to convert a purchase requisition to purchase order. Or sometimes system can directly generate the schedule lines also. This also we discussed. What is schedule line, scheduling agreement, all those things we have discussed. So this is in case of external procurement. Okay, now another option is, from the MRP you can generate a planned order also for the externally procured materials, and this planned order can be converted to purchase requisition and then to purchase order. So two-step method is also there. Directly you can create purchase requisition and then to purchase order. Another one is, first create planned order and then convert to purchase requisition and then to purchase order. That is also possible, but most of the time, in real time, they will directly create the purchase requisition. System will directly create the purchase requisition. Okay, so this is the MRP process overview. So this is what we have discussed. So when you run MRP, what system does is, system will check the procurement type of the material. System will check the procurement of the material. I'll show you this in the system. If it is maintained as E, procurement type is maintained as E, then system will generate a planned order, and this planned order will be converted to a production order. This is done. This is in the PP module. The top one is our PP module. Now, if the procurement type is maintained as F, external procurement, system directly generate a purchase requisition, and that purchase requisition is converted to purchase order for procurement. Or sometimes, based on certain setting, you can create a planned order also. That planned order will be converted to purchase requisition and then to purchase order. That is also possible. But most of the time, they will create a purchase requisition directly. Okay, so now where this procurement type is maintained, it is maintained in the material master, MRP2 view. I'll show you that. I'll log on to the system. Okay, so if you go to, let's take any material. I'll take one of the material which is already there in the system. Okay, let's say if you take this hydrochloric acid, if you go to its material master, okay, if you go to its material master, MM02, I'll go to change mode. Okay, now here you have MRP2 view. If you go to MRP2 view, plant is 1000. See what it is maintained here. As of now, it is maintained X, but normally they maintain F. Okay, if you go to the list, here if you see, F means externally procured. Okay, so when you maintain F, what system does is, system will create a purchase requisition. When you maintain E, in-house production, system will create a plant order. That is the reason. So that whether it is a externally procured material or an internally produced material, you will maintain here E or F. That is a place where you maintain. So accordingly, system will create the particular planned order or a purchase requisition. That's what will happen. Okay. Now, how MRP run is executed? Okay, so normally MRP run execution will be taken care by PP module, but as a MM consultant, you should know how the MRP is executed. Okay, so basically MRP, normally they will run at plant level. They will be running at a plant level as a background job. Total for all the materials in the plant through a transact as a background job. Every day in the night they will run. That is possible. Now you can run MRP at front end also for a plant. The transaction code is MD01. Okay, you can run through the transaction. Now another one is you can run MRP for a single material also. The transaction code is MD02. I'll show you this transaction, but this transactions execution and everything will be taken care by PP consultant. It comes under the scope of PP module. Okay, I'll show you that anyhow the transactions. So if you go here, let's go to the main menu. Okay, let's go to the main menu. You go to logistics, production. You have to go to production. Okay, go to MRP folder. Here, planning. Open it. Total planning. Either you can do as a background job, MDBT as a background job at a predefined interval in the night, every day something, or every week as per the frequency. That can be done, or it can be done as a front end MD01. This is a plant level. You give the plant here, you run MRP. So it will run MRP for all the materials in that plant. That is one method. Now the another method is you can run MRP for a single material. Here MD02. Single material. You enter the material here, you enter that plant, in which plant that material has to be planned, then you run MRP. So those are the three methods of running MRP. Okay. Now the next one we will be discussing is MRP procedures. So what are the different MRP procedures? Okay. So basically there are two types of MRP procedures. One is normal MRP. Another one is consumption based MRP, consumption based planning. Okay, I'll show you both normal MRP and then consumption based. So again, in the consumption based, you have three MRP types: reorder point planning, forecast based planning, time phased based planning. But we will be discussing on the reorder point planning, manual reorder point planning, automatic reorder point planning, and manual reorder point planning. So first I will show you normal MRP, how it works, I will tell you. Okay, so normal MRP. So what it does is, I'll take a material, I'll take a finished product now in the system. Okay, so let me go back. I'll take a finished product. See, most of the topic MRP we'll be discussing today, normally MRP will be handled by PP PP consultants, and it comes under the scope of PP module actually, MRP. But as a consultant, you should know how this MRP is done and how that our purchase requisitions are generated. That you should know. Okay, so that is why you should have at least a basic concept of MRP as a consultant. Okay, now I'll take a finished product. But okay, I'll take a finished product. Okay, so let me take this product, Pepsi bottle 1 liter. I have a finished product, Pepsi bottle 1 liter. Now let me check the BOM of this product. Okay, if I go to the BOM, bill of material CS03, this is a transaction with which they will create a BOM, display bill of material. Okay, you enter the product, plant 1000, BOM usage 1. Don't worry about this transaction. This will be maintained by PP in the real time. Okay, so if you go to the BOM, I'll select the first BOM, go to items. So here, if you observe carefully, to manufacture this Pepsi bottle 1 liter, what they require? They require a bottle cap, empty bottle cap. They require an empty bottle, and some bulk solution in the bottle. So they require 1 liter of. They require 1 liter of solution. They require 1 liter of solution and one bottle cap and one empty bottle. So this they require for to manufacture one bottle. To manufacture one bottle, they require all these items. Okay, all these items. So now I'll do one thing. Instead of that, I will take this one, Pepsi 1.5 liter. Let's say, is it having BOM 690? Just 1 minute. 90. Just give me 1 minute. 90 doesn't have. Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll take this one, Pepsi 85. I will take just 1 minute. Because that material is used for some other training. Okay, so for this there is no BOM. I'll create this one. Just 1 minute. Let me create the BOM. For this material, let me create a BOM. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'll save this. Okay, now let me create a BOM for this material. Separately I will create. Just give me 1 minute. CS01. Okay, so this is our material. Enter, go inside. I'll write down the material. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'll write down the material. Okay, now I'll enter the components. I'll copy from the previous one. I'll enter from the previous one, CS03. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay, done. Now I'm saving this. Okay, so now to manufacture, the meaning here is to manufacture this product, you require this bulk solution. And this empty bottle cap, and you require an empty bottle. See, I am at here. Okay, if you go here, let's say your company manufactures empty bottles. Let's say Pepsi bottles. Pepsi company, you want to manufacture Pepsi product. So if you want to manufacture a Pepsi product, okay, if you want to manufacture a Pepsi product, what do you require? You require an empty bottle first, you require a cap, and inside some solution you have to fill. So these three are required, right? You require an empty bottle, you require a cap, under the inside you will require a solution. So that materials you will put in the bill of material. Okay, so that's what we entered in the bill of material. So we entered the bill of material. Now for this material, I will enter some requirement. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go to MD04. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, there is no stock for this finished product. Let me check the strategy is done. Very good. Okay, now what we need to do is, let's take the BOM component. I'll take one of the BOM component. I'll go to CS03. Just give me 1 minute. Let me take this bottle cap. I'll go to its MD04. Just give me 1 minute. Enter. Okay, we have stock and everything now. Just 1 minute. I'll put a new raw material inside. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Okay. Let me use this material. Empty glass bottle 1 liter. Okay. I'll go to change mode. Okay, now instead of this one, I will use empty glass bottle, glass bottle cap. I'll use this too. Okay, I will use this too. Done. Now I'm saving this. Okay, so now again, if I go to display, so now we'll see the situation of this. Okay, I'll go to that. So empty glass bottle is 1 liter. It is stock is also 0. Stock as of now is 0. Now here I'll enter the requirement for this my finished product. Let's say tomorrow I want to manufacture 1000 Pepsi bottles, Pepsi product, 1000 bottles of Pepsi product I want to manufacture. So what they do is, production people, they will enter the requirement in this. They will enter the requirement in the system. So with one more transaction, I'm entering a requirement FD61. This will be done by PP team. Don't worry, just try to understand the concept. Okay, try to understand the concept. So I'm entering. Okay, I'm entering. Let's say in the month of August, they want to produce 1000 bottles, 1000 Pepsi bottles, Pepsi product. 1000 bottles of Pepsi 1 liter product they want to produce. So they enter the requirement here, they will save it. So this will be done by PP. So don't worry. Okay. Now when you go here, when you go to the stock requirement list, you can see the requirement here. Now what is our scenario? You have Pepsi. You have Pepsi. One bottle you have to produce. So to produce one bottle, what do you require? You require empty bottle. You require empty bottle 1. You require cap 1, and you require, what do you require? Bulk solution. Bulk solution you require 1 liter. This is 1 liter. This is 1 number, piece and piece. So this is what you require. Okay, you require. Now I entered my requirement as 1000. Now I entered my requirement as 1000. Now when I run MRP, system will calculate the requirements for these materials. So based on the BOM proportion we defined, it will calculate. So for one bottle, 1 is required. So for 1000 bottles, how many is required? 1000 required. Am I correct? Correct, Ramakrishna and Santosh. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Yes, logically correct. Right? One bottle, 1 empty bottle is required. One cap is required. 1 liter of bulk solution is required. So for 1000 bottles, so 1000 is required. So when I run MRP, system will calculate these quantities and it will create PR for these materials. So now let's do that. Okay. I am running MRP. Don't worry about MRP. MRP will be executed by PP team. Okay, so I am running MRP for my finished product. What is my finished product? My finished product is this one. Let's close everything. This is my finished product. Pepsi bottle, Pepsi 1 liter bottle. Okay, so now I'm running MRP for that. Okay. So now you see what will happen. I did MRP. Okay, so when I run MRP, first I'm checking for finished product. So if I refresh the screen, for finished product, as there is no stock, there is a requirement of 1000 and system created a planned order. Why the system did a planned order? This is the in-house production material. We are going to manufacture this. That is a system created planned order. See, this is a planned order. PLORD means planned order. This planned order, they will convert to production order. That will be taken care by PP. We are not worried about that one. Okay, now as because of this requirement, now if you go to one of the component material, empty glass bottle 1 liter, empty glass bottle 1 liter, if I refresh the screen, what happened here? You got a dependent requirement of 1000 from the main product, from the main material, header material, you got a requirement of 1000. And as there is no stock here, zero, system has generated a PR. Purchase requisition. PURRUQ means purchase requisition. System has generated a purchase requisition for 1000. Now this purchase requisition will be converted to purchase order by our MMT purchasing team. That is what will happen in the real time. Either you can create purchase requisition manually. This we already discussed in our previous class. Purchase requisition can be created manually through ME51N transaction, or it will be generated by MRP material. It will be generated by MRP automatically by MRP. Okay, so that's what happens. So PR can be created manually. This already we discussed in our previous classes, and it will be generated by automatically by MRP. So this is what you got the PR here, purchase requisition. If you go inside, you can see the data inside. Okay, so this is what ultimately you will go to the same transaction, ME53N display purchase requisition. Here, if you go to the contact person, you can see this purchase requisition is generated by MRP. That is why creation indicator is MRP, material requirement planning. Okay, this is the place where you can see and tell whether this purchase requisition is generated by MRP or it is created manually. This already we discussed. Now this purchase requisition will be converted to PO by the purchasing department. That also we have already discussed. They will click on this button, purchase order, and they will convert to PO. This already we discussed. Okay, so this is how your MRP works. Okay, so this is the normal MRP which we discussed just now. This is the normal MRP just now we discussed. Now there is another method which is called consumption based MRP. So consumption based MRP means your MRP will run based on certain consumption, like reorder point planning. Okay, so what is this reorder point planning? Reorder point planning means if the quantity of available warehouse stock is less than the reorder point, the procurement is triggered. Okay, so you define some reorder point. In the system. If your stock falls below the reorder point, then system will generate a procurement proposal. Okay, so I'll show you this in the system. See, you define a reorder point. Okay, now if your stock is more than the reorder point, that's okay. The moment your stock falls below the reorder point, system will generate a purchase requisition for the procurement. This is normally used for consumable materials, reorder point planning. So we will see that how that reorder point planning will work. Okay, so I'll go to the material. Okay, now let me take this material. Okay, I'll remove everything as of now. For the finished product, I'm removing everything. Okay, I'll remove everything. I'll run MRP once. Just give me 1 minute. I'll run MRP once so that everything will go. Okay, everything gone. Now I'll come out of this. I don't want this material. Now let's go to our raw material, our packing material, one of the packing material, empty glass bottle 1 liter. Okay, here what is the stock now? Stock is zero now. Okay, now I'll maintain some reorder point for it. Okay, so go to MM02. How to maintain the reorder point? This is your material. Go inside. This is the material, right? Okay. Now go to MRP1 tab, MRP1 view. Here, go to plant 1000. Here, we have discussed as of now normal MRP. Now to use reorder point planning, you have to select VB, manual reorder point planning. Select that manual reorder point planning. The moment you select that one, it will ask you to enter the reorder point. Reorder point like a level. The level of stock always you should have in your company. So now let's say I'll put as 200. I'll put as 200. Put as 200. Now I'm saving this. Okay, now I'm saving this. So what is my reorder now? What is my reorder point? My reorder point is 200. Okay, now I'll post some stock now. I'll post some stock now for this material. I'll post some stock for this material. B1s. Okay, I'll post some stock directly, which you are not supposed to do in the real production. Okay, I'll post some stock. This is a material. I'll post some stock 300. Okay, yeah, done. Save it. Okay, so now what is my stock? My stock is 300. If I refresh the screen, my stock is now 300. My current stock is 300. Okay, so my stock is 300. Now if I run MRP, nothing will come because my stock is more than the reorder point. Okay, so suppose if I try to run MRP, nothing will come because my stock is still more than the reorder point. So I'm just running MRP now. I'm running MRP MD02. I'm running MRP directly for that material only. Okay, run. I did MRP. Now here nothing will come. Even if I refresh the screen, nothing is coming because still this stock is more than the reorder point. Okay. Now what I will do from the stock 300, I will issue some stock to the production or some other department. Now you see what will happen. So let's say from that stock MB1, I'll issue some stock. Okay. Center I will enter. I'm issuing some stock. Let's say I'll issue 150. I'll issue 150. You need a batch, huh? Just 1 minute. Huh? Okay, it's need a batch number 1128. Okay, I'll enter the batch number. Here the meaning is from my stock 300. From my stock 300, from 300, I am issuing 150 stock. 150 stock to a department or some person. Okay, I'm issuing it. Now save it. So now I'm saving it. Then I issued the stock 150. So now the stock will become 150. Now the stock has become 150. So now what is the situation now? Now the stock is 150. Now your reorder point is how much? 200. So now the stock has fallen below this reorder point. We are here. Now the stock has fallen below the reorder point. When it has fallen the reorder point, system will generate a purchase requisition. Okay, so now let's see. When I run MRP, you see what will happen. Even though there are no new requirements, system will generate a PR. Okay, I'm running MRP. See what will happen. I did MRP. Now you go and see the MD04 situation. Refresh the screen. See, one PR has come. Purchase requisition has been generated for quantity 50. Why 50? Because reorder point is 200. So stock is 150. So to reach the reorder point, it has generated for 50. That is how the reorder point planning will work. Okay, so that is a reorder point planning will work. Okay, Poonam, is it clear how the reorder point works? Poonam, Vasundhara.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's how the reorder point planning works in the system.
So, Savan, ideally in business scenario, no one would manually go and run the MRP, right? It should be an automatic trigger program which runs every 3 hours or 4 hours. Is that not right?
Normally, that's what I told you. MRP, they will be running as a background job in the night. In the background, it will run automatically in the night at a predefined interval. Okay? So if I run MRP now at plant level, it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time. So that is why I am running MRP for a single material as of now. This is a training, right? This is not a real time. This is a training.
Right.
So that is why I'm running MRP for a single material. Normally in the real time, they will be running MRP in the background for a plant level, at a plant level. Okay, hope I answered your question, Vasundhara.
Yes,
Yeah, okay. So now we need to understand what data you have to maintain in the material master to run MRP. Okay. So to run MRP for a particular material, to run MRP for a particular material, you need to maintain some data in the MRP views like MRP type, planned delivery time, okay, lot size indicator, MRP controller, scheduling margin key, all this information you have to maintain. And even in our purchasing data tab, you have to maintain purchasing group and good receipt processing time. You have to maintain. Okay, so I'll show you where this data is maintained in the material master. If you go to the material master /mm02, if you go to the material master to run MRP, you have to maintain minimum data. If you select 4 MRP views, plant is 1000. See, you have to maintain MRP type, you have to maintain lot size. Okay, this will be maintained by PPA. It is not our responsibility. MRP views maintenance will be taken care by PP. That is why material requirement planning. Okay, but you should know where they maintain data. MRP type they have to maintain suitable MRP type, MRP controller, lot size. Then MRP2 they will maintain either in-house production time. For internally produced materials, they will maintain in-house production time. For externally produced materials, they will maintain planned delivery time. Okay, the time taken by the vendor to supply this material, that is what called planned delivery time. And of course, you can maintain GR processing time also. I'll show you the effect of this. Once you maintain this, what effect it will take place, and they will maintain some other data like availability check, strategy, and MRP view. They will maintain this data. So to run MRP, you have to maintain all this data. Now in our purchasing data, in our purchasing data tab, in our purchasing data tab, you need to maintain the purchasing group, okay, and if you want, you can maintain GR processing time, okay, so that you can maintain, which is relevant for MRP. So that is the data you need to maintain in the material master for the MRP execution. Okay, now how the scheduling happens in case of external procurement, this is very important. Okay, so when you are running MRP, system will do the scheduling also. That means it will determine the dates. Now, let's say your raw material has to be available for a particular date for production. Let's say I need a raw material or a packing material available for production. Now, what system does is, system will subtract good receipt processing time, planned delivery time, and processing time for purchasing. If you maintain these three things, it will subtract these number of days from the availability date, and it will give you the PR release date. PR release date. That's what it will do. It will tell you. Okay. So now, good receipt processing time. This will be maintained in the material master. Just now I have shown you. Good receipt processing time. That means once the goods are received, to process it or like to do quality inspection or something, it will take some time in the organization. That you can maintain here. Let's say it takes 2 days. That you can maintain. If you maintain, that will get reflected here automatically. That is one thing. Now, next one is delivery time. Delivery time is the time taken by your vendor. Taken by your vendor to supply the material. Planned delivery time. Once you issue the purchase order, time taken by your supplier to supply the material, which is called planned delivery time. You know this now already. This you can maintain in the material master, or you can maintain in the purchase info record. This already we have discussed. If you maintain in the material master, it will be applicable for that material, whatever from the vendor you procure that material. And if you maintain in the PIR, purchase info record, for a combination of material and vendor, then it will be applicable only for that vendor. This already we have discussed, this planned delivery time. So now system will subtract this everything and it will give you the scheduling. I will show you this in the system. Okay, suppose if you go to our original scenario, okay, I'll maintain plant delivery time as 3 days, GR processing time as 2 days. Now I am saving this. Again, I will go inside. Okay, I'll remove that reorder point planning as of now. Okay, I'll again maintain normal planning, PD. I'll remove this everything. Okay, yes, done. Now let's go to our finished product. What was our finished product we were using? I'll go to what was the finished product? This one, right? This one. This one we were using. Okay, now for this finished product, I will enter a requirement. Okay, MD61. Again, I am entering requirement. Okay, now I'll enter a requirement of 1000. Okay, 1000 I entered. Save it. Okay, so now if you go to MD04 of our this thing, so here what does it mean? My stock 1000 is required by this date. I have to manufacture stock by this date, 01/08/2018, August 1st. Okay, now for this material, if you go, what is the in-house production time they maintained? 2 days. 2 days. Okay, that means to manufacture this product, it takes 2 days. It takes 2 days. Okay, so now I'll run MRP. You see what will happen when I run MRP. Okay, I did MRP. Now if you go to the stock requirement list situation of your finished product, see you got a planned order. You got a planned order. If you go to the planned order, see stock has to be ready by this date. Your production time is 2 days. So system subtracted production by 2 days and it is giving you the start date as 30 July 2018. That means your production has to start on this date. Now to start this production on this date, your input material should be ready by this date. Correct? Santosh or Ramakrishna. Am I correct? Ramakrishna, are you there? Ramakrishna, Santosh.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So
Yes.
if your stock has to be ready by this date, your in-house production time is 2 days. So your production has to start on this date, 2 days earlier. 2 days earlier. Now to start production on this date, your raw materials, your input material should be ready by this date. Correct? Then only you can start production. So that is why if you go to the stock requirement list, you go to your stock requirement list of your main that packing material, empty glass bottle. Okay, if you see the dependent requirement has come for 30th date, it is required on 30th. It is required on 30th. Okay, that is why your dependent requirement has come. Okay, now if you go to the purchase requisition, see your purchase requisition has to be released by this date, 20th, 23rd, and the delivery date should be 27th. Why 27th? Why 27th? Because again we maintained 2 days of GR processing time. Okay, so that is why system has subtracted all these things. GR processing time it has subtracted. It has subtracted planned delivery time. That is why it has given purchase order date. So purchase order has to be created on this date. And you issue the purchase order. Vendor will take how many days? What is the processing time? Planned delivery time we maintained here. We maintained planned delivery time 3 days. Of course, 3 working days. 3 working days. In between there are any holidays, it will exclude. Okay. So if you go to the purchase requisition, this is the planned delivery date. On 23rd, if you issue the PO to the vendor, he has to deliver the raw material on 27th. Once you receive on 27th, you maintain some GR processing time, some to check the quality of the material. Sometimes you need some time that you maintain. So that is why system is giving ultimately planned date should be 31. It should be ready by 31st. That is how system will do the calculation. Okay, clear? Poonam and Vasundhara, how system does the calculation?
Yeah.
So if you maintain, system will consider all these timings. So this GR processing time, planned delivery time will be maintained in the material master, and this processing time for purchasing will be maintained in the configuration. See, what is this processing time for purchasing means? Let's say you create a PO. you have a PR, system generated PR. You are a purchasing officer in the company. You have to take approval from your purchasing manager. He may take some time. That is why that time also, if you want to consider, you will maintain that processing time for purchasing. Okay, so if you maintain all these things, system will do the scheduling accordingly like this. This is what you need to understand. Okay, so this is our purchasing processing time. The purchasing processing time. That means it includes the time period necessary for converting a purchase requisition to purchase order and then issuing it. Okay, now planned delivery time. Planned delivery time is the time from the issue of purchase order to the receipt of the goods from the vendor. That means vendor supply time. Vendor supply time. This time is entered in calendar days into the material master or your purchase info record. Already we discussed all these things. Or into contract. Now GR processing time is the time required from the time of good receipt until the material is available for production. Okay, and it is also entered in the material master in working days according to the factory calendar. That is what. So there are three timings involved here: purchasing processing time, planned delivery time by the vendor supplier, and GR processing time. Okay, so this is the scheduling for external procurement. So once the MRP is done, you will see the results, MRP results in the stock requirement list screen. The transaction code is MD04. MD04. Here you can see everything. Okay, I'll show you that. The transaction code is MD04. I'll show you again. You go to this transaction MD04. Okay, you have to enter the material, you have to enter the plant. No need of MRP area. Forget about MRP area. You enter the plant, go inside. Here it will show you the stock. The current stock is 150. You have a requirement coming from this finished product for 1000. For 1000, you already have a stock of 150. So 1000 minus 150, shortage is 850. So system generated a purchase requisition for 850. As this material is a externally procured material. This is a packing material which we are going to procure from outside. F, procurement type is F. So that is why system is generated a PR, purchase requisition. And this 850 stock should be available for us by 31st. Okay, and this PR, if you go, these are the timings. He has to convert this PR to PO on this date, and he has to issue the PO, and vendor is supposed to deliver on 27th because his delivery time is 3 days. And once it is delivered, it takes another 2 days to do the processing of this material, and material will be available by this date. That is the meaning of it. Now, normally in the real time, they take this purchase order, they will convert to purchase requisition, they will convert to PO. So I'll convert this. We already discussed this, but I will show you again. Take the PR, put in the drag and drop it, put in the shopping cart. Okay, let me enter the vendor. Now I'll drag the purchase requisition. Now all the data will get copied. Okay, now I'll enter the price, let's say 15 INR. I'll enter this. So now I'm converting the purchase requisition to PO, purchase order. Now save the purchase order. Okay, now purchase order got created. Now if you refresh the screen, in place of purchase requisition, now it will be showing purchase order. Now I'm refreshing the screen. See, now it is showing the purchase order. PRC TCHORD, that means purchase order. This is a purchase order. Okay, we create purchase order. Now against this purchase order, vendor will supply the material. Then they will do the GR. This already we discussed so many times. Okay, I'll do the MIGO just to show you. MIGO. Okay, good receipt. Purchase order. Enter your purchase order number. Enter. Done. You received everything. Your system will read the data from the purchase order and will propose everything. Click on item. Enter the storage location. Check once. It will create a batch. Please mute somebody. I'm unmuted. Please mute. Vasundhara, please mute. Okay, so now I enter the storage location. I entered the storage location. Check one more time. Done. Now I am posting the stock. That means I received the material. I am posting it. Now stock will become 1000. Now the material document is posted. Now if you go to the MD04, screen, this purchase order will go because delivery has been completed. We have received 850 stock, so stock will become 1000. Refresh the screen. So stock has become 1000. This is what happens actually if the PR is generated from MRP run. Okay. So this is all about your MRP.